there are very few movies that feel like hit on all cylinders, like from beginning, middle to end, with good music, good animation. There's a very few movies that do it. Your Name is one of those movies. And on this episode, Movie Breakdowns, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this review for 2016's Your Name. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series. We're looking new and old movies. Give them a grade, 8 to plus and minus and do count. And there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. I also have a Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. You get to jump in front of everybody. Wherever you add your review, I do it immediately. Get it out there on Patreon and you get to enjoy it before everybody gets it on YouTube and Facebook. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of 2016's Your Name. What is this movie about? And before I hop into all of it, yes, this is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen Your Name, go watch it, come back to the review, and let's talk about it. But this movie is about a Tokyo boy and a girl who lives, like, I would say, in a small town away from the city, like in the country. So a country girl and a city boy, and they swap lives. Like wake up and they swap lives, and as they're going through life, they're trying to navigate the world of each person's life and then trying to find a way to meet each other. It's pretty much the gist of this movie. And this movie, because of my first thoughts, is great. Amazing. The storyline is amazing. The way the movie plays out is amazing. I didn't know how the movie was going to end. I didn't know how the movie was going to conclude or where the movie was going to take me. I sat down, was along for the ride. And then with the music and the original soundtrack of this movie, there's times where I felt myself like immersed in this movie, where I felt like I was watching something and listening to the play, listening to the soundtrack, and the tones and the themes of it matches what was going on the screen, especially the music. The tone of the music matched what was going on the screen. If it was a laid back kind of time, the music matched it. If it would be like upbeat, let's go, the music matched it. And I guess, I don't know, maybe it's the orchestra and the strings and the quartets of the movie, the piano, maybe those kind of soundtracks. When I hear those kind of songs or sound of instruments in a movie and it's played to a good background, I love it. I know, that's just me. But the music is one of the best things about this movie. And then the animation, there's times I'm watching and I'm like, this is a very beautiful movie. Very, very beautiful movie. Like, it is, the scenes and the designs and the animation, the drawing, there's a lot of things you can take from this movie and put on the back of, like, wallpaper worthy. Like, put them back on your wall, put back, like, not just screensavers on your phone or your computer or laptop, but your actual apartment or house or wherever you live at. You can put that up and be like, man, that is a very beautiful scene. Great. And the story itself is phenomenal. Like, the idea of a guy and a girl switch places, and at first it's like, yeah, what you think. Like, a dude wakes up and like, oh, I now have, breasts. Like, okay, cool, neat. And a girl wakes up and she's like, oh, now I actually have, male genitalia. Be like, those things and the reactions to the characters is like very real life like. And the character, when they swap genders or swap into the other person's body, they still act the way they were. They didn't completely change. Like when I'm gonna mess her name up right now. I'm about to say Mitsuhide, but that's not her name. When she like goes into Taki's body, she acts like she's still Mitsuha, so she's still moving around like her normal self, and her movements is literally her in her actual body, but just in the form of Taki's body. And Taki is the same way. When he's inside Mitsuha's body, he is moving around like he is Taki. He is not, changing up his way to walk. He's not moving a different way. He is moving exactly how he walked, and even the way like just in his body. When Mitsuha go back to Taki, and there's a scene where she sees what happened to her world, or to her, I guess, town, she collapsed to the ground, and instead of like, you know, collapsing like just on her knees, she actually collapsed into a sit where her legs kind of scoot out to the side. Those little details to me just are great, and I like how the director and the writers and the artists drew the characters in a way where it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely Mitsuha in Taki's body, and you're not questioning it. Like, even the way they talk and dialogue and the way they express themselves was of the character just having to be another person's body, but the voice and the tone, like their voice changed, where when Mitsuha was in Taki, she had a lighter voice, and then when Taki was in Mitsuha, she had a darker, he had a deeper voice, or Mitsuha had a deeper voice. Love it. Love it. I don't know, this movie is great. I enjoyed this movie. I didn't know how it was going to work out. Didn't know how it was going to play out, especially when the time skip happens, or I should say the event where you realize it's in a different time, that two people met each other at two different points of their life, and the other person is pretty much trying to go back to the past and meet the girl who pretty much caught him in the future. And when you start throwing a time loop in there, messing with different realities, different times, and different time-space continuum, you're almost like, oh man, it's gonna get messy. And the movie doesn't. It actually keeps it pretty linear, where it's like, oh no, this is how you was able to go back into time in order to meet her, because this place where has very spiritual energy, and time doesn't have any, I guess what the word I'm looking for, there's any really big rules to time. Like, you can come here and manage to make it back to a different time and end up making complete change to the future. But when they was doing this, Mitsuha and Taki was forgetting each other because they are from two different times period. So therefore they wasn't, and not time period as in like the 1700s in the present. No, it was just like 3-year gap, but like because they're different times, they couldn't remember who it was, and as the further they move on in life, the more they forgot the person they once were. It's pretty cool. I'm not doing this movie justice. You definitely need to check this movie out, especially if you're an anime fan. It is worth it. It's a romance fantasy movie, but you know what? I enjoyed it. I really did. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into I'm not gonna talk about the cast because I watched this in dub, so the cast is gonna be different. So I'll probably talk more about the characters themselves, but I do want to talk about the writer. I actually have the DVD here, but he is the original story, screenplay, and director, who is Makoto Shinkai. I thought he did a great job with this. I thought the story that he created and how it played out, I thought was really, really well. I thought he did a good job with it. I want to see more of his movie, more of his work, because this right here was a solid one to me. And also the company that produced this is Comics Wave. Good job for them. Like, this is a good, from this movie here, I think this production of this movie was done really, really well. As far as characters, we got Taki Tachibana. So Taki, him as a character, because you don't get to meet him per se. You don't really get to meet him before the change. So you don't know how he was per se before Mitsuha took over, but after Mitsuha took over and he goes back into his actual body, you can see how he's reacting to the world and reacting to what Mitsuha did, and he's like, that's not me, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't have the confidence to go flirt with a girl I've been crushing on. But then when he gets on a date, he acts cold and off-putting and doesn't really know how to react, which I'm like, okay, dude, you're a cool dude, but then you freeze up in the moment, come on, man, this girl sets you up on a date with a girl you got a crush on, and you just yeah. But he gets called out on it because apparently, and I didn't peep this out, but apparently the character's like, is there another woman you're into? And he's like, oh no, it's not. But then he finds himself trying to meet Mitsuha, and then pretty much the second half of the movie is from his point of view and him trying to find a way to get a hold of her and find a way to meet her. And that's when the different time zone or different time periods happen where you're like, oh, the person you're trying to meet is 3 years in the past. So let's see if you can try to get to her, and he trying to find a way to to get back to her and like interact with her and hopefully meet her. And then you have Misua Miyamoto, who she's also a character like when she's in her body, she's like a strong person, very like determined. But then when she's in Taki's body, she's seen kind of like shy and kind of like not confident in herself. And I get it because she's in somebody else's body, so she thinks it's a dream. But she's also a country girl living in the city, so she's trying to get used to everything all at once. But when she gets like, you can see how she reacts to everything, and she seems like a very shy person. But then when she's in herself, she's confident, like, I got this, this is my life, this is my normal thing. Which, good writing, because, yeah, you put in somebody else's body who you're not used to the way they move through life, you'd be like, well, shoot, I don't know what's going on here. Alright, I guess so. Yeah, I'm gonna go be a waiter. Don't know how to wait tables? Let me do this. Like, I get that, and I think the good writing for that. But as far as her like being a standout character, I think I remember more the story versus more her personality. And thinking about personality for Mitsuha, I feel like she is like your standard anime protagonist. Like, just a good person, somebody can get behind, and somebody who's determined to like make her dreams go. And at first, you're kind of like seeing the movie from her perspective before it switches to Taki. And then from there, at the end of the movie, it's just like, will Taki ever meet Mitsuha again? And they kind of float through that and go through life. And it's, the emotions in this movie, I would say, are really, really good. Like, both characters can express emotions. Like, the writing and designs, like, it makes you actually feel for these characters. And I do give it props for that. So, like, as far as Mitsuha, you do feel for her. But as far as personality-wise, you're like, oh, okay, she's a cool character. Everybody else, they're there. Like, you have a little sister who just kind of like in the background, kind of like make a little jokes here and there. You got, you know, the friends of the group and everything, but that's about it, really. Let me see. Even the love interest for a character, like, she was there, but she just kind of wanted to see exactly what Taki wanted. Who this girl that Taki was really into, that Taki took his emotions away from her. But yeah, that's pretty much as far as the characters. Like, everybody else is kind of there, and they have parts, but it's not really like, you can take them out the movie and wouldn't really affect the movie in a way for me per se. I would say any other thoughts about this movie is that, you know, the CGI is really good, the animation is really good, the music's really good, and then the way the movie ended. I thought for a moment that like this movie was going to end with, okay, Taki and Mitsuha was able to save the country from the comet that destroyed the town, the little country town. So they're able to save the movie, save the town, save the people. But I thought like, could they forget each other as time progressed? They lost their memories. So I was thinking like, man, this movie's going to end on a sad note. It's either way, it ends on a happy note, good note, good. But I really wanted to end in a way where like maybe the characters come across each other, and they kept teasing it. They kept teasing them crossing each other, and like, oh, this could be the moment. They don't stop. Oh, this could be the moment. They don't stop. And for a moment, I thought the movie, like, they see each other one last time, and then they decide to walk past each other, and from there, like, this is how the movie's going to end, just like, what if? Marvel. But no, he actually stops, Taki stops and asks Mitsuha, have we met before? And the movie goes, and she goes like, I think we have. And like, I'm paraphrasing there, and they start crying, and you know, like, okay, this might end on a good note. And that tension at the end of the movie where them not meeting each other, might meet each other, I appreciate it, and I think it was a great way to end the movie. I would say this though, the movie did move like an anime. Like, there was a time like the movie had an opener, and I was like, hey, is this an anime? Is this based off an anime? And then there's like a little music scene where like you see them living through each other's lives, and then the movie kind of like pause, like it's the end of the episode, and then you watch the next episode. Like, I thought this movie was based off an anime. I was like, I kind of want to see more of this as an anime, but no, it's a legit movie. This is a film. It's just the way the movie was directed and kind of designed and set up where it looks like an opening to anime. Then you have like the episode 1 where like we're living each other's body. And another thing, I will say this. The first 40 minutes of this movie, a lot of stuff happens. Especially when the comic drops. Like, it happens at 43 minutes and the comic drops. And I'm like, oh. And I paused it and I was like, I have an hour and 40-something minutes left in this movie. Hold up. Or no, hour and 20-something minutes left in this movie. Like, hold up. I did not realize that. And this movie is 2 hours and... see here. The movie is, it's an hour and 52 minutes, so pretty much 2 hours. And I, for a moment, thought like, man, there's a lot they put in 43 minutes, but you know what? It worked. It didn't feel rushed. It felt like it moved smoothly. Now, I do give this movie props for that. If this is a movie you should watch, yes, watch this movie with your friends and family and sit down and enjoy it in grading time. I'm going to grade the movie Your Name for 2016 a solid A. This movie gets an A for me. It's a really good movie. It really is. And I don't know, man, like it's solid. It's really solid. Maybe you can say like the characters, like side characters, don't really add much to the story, but yeah, they're side characters. The movie's not about them. It's about the Taki and Misula. Actually, I'm gonna give this movie an A+, not just an A, an A+. This movie gets an A+ for me. It is solid. I literally can't think of anything wrong with this movie. I cannot. It's an A+. I'm not even gonna, it's an A+, guys. This movie's an A+, not an A. It's an A+. Throw the plus sign next to that A. A+, solid movie. If you guys seen the movie Your Name for 2016, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys next episode of Movie Breakdowns. Keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.